Hello everybody and welcome to today's video. I wanted to talk to you about the reality that you think you're in is truly the fantasy the narcissist has dragged you into. Okay, so let's jump in. So this is the deal. The narcissist is a complete hoax. You got to start looking at the narcissist from this point of view. You remember I told you about angles, looking at things from a different angle, because you have ingrained in your head a version or an imagination of this individual we call the narcissist, your ex-love partner. And what you have a tough time doing is separating what you have imagined from what they have told you they are, from what they truly are. So what you have imagined is really a big lie. I mean, if you're imagining it, the way that they've walked you into it, because they are a complete manipulation, and you know that. And the problem is your imagination of who they are, who you believe them to be, would be fine and normal in a normal relationship where somebody is not trying to manipulate you, but trying to love you as well. But when it comes to the narcissist, they're doing the complete opposite. They are trying to supply their needs and fulfill their lusts and then break you down for several reasons. Because you can't be above them, they have envy and jealousy. And when they break you down to a low level, they can control you and they can keep you. It's kind of like, you want to eat clean food, right? People speak about this all the time. Non-GMO, you want healthy, fresh, farm-raised or free-range type stuff. Well, the narcissist is a preservative. They're like the food with all the preservatives. They're bad, but what they are really trying to do is preserve you as long as they can until you figure them out, until you've had enough and you leave them. It's interesting because they're surprised because it doesn't happen very often, because when they hook people, man, it's really good. I mean, they really hook them. And when you get away, they are in shock. But they also think you should have did that a long time ago. And that's kind of what they're thinking. But you have to get in your head the right picture of who they really are. Your opinion of them. Because a lot of times, they say the narcissist goes always, when they re-idolize you, goes back to the snapshot of who you were the day they met you. Basically, your first impression to them. And so that's how they re-idolize you. They have this snapshot picture, and when they want to re-idolize you, they go back to that snapshot from that first day they ever met you. That's what's ingrained in their head. And they remember you always as that. And in a sense, you kind of do something similar with the narcissist, because you have this imagination of who they are based on the information they've given you. But that's not who they are at all. If you were to take a snapshot on the first day you met them, and you continue to believe that that's who they are, and you don't reassess and put another snapshot in there, meaning who they really are, so that you stay away from them. You need to replace that one with they are a complete manipulation, a lie, a cheater, pathological liar and cheater. They don't love you. They're always devising evil, always. They don't love anybody. They can't love, and they don't care. They're out to destroy you and to destroy your life, to put you down, to be on top of you. And they envy and have jealousy of you, so they're in competition with you. They will triangulate you until you break, for you to be their servant, as their property, to be subservient to them, always. To always take them back when they want you, regardless of how they treated you. And that's what you need to replace it with, because what you met on day one was the lie. It's a lie. From day one, you really had this idea. They were going into things with equal scales, but they're not. From day one, they knew it was set up to be unfair. They knew that it was to beat you. It was set up to beat you. And think about it. Do you think this is the first time they've destroyed somebody? You? I mean, no. They've done this 300 or 400 times. I mean, it depends on their age and their spectrum. What they do is they enjoy this. Because what they do is when they break up with, say, their last supply, for instance, and they came to you, they learned new tactics. They learned new ways to devise evil and to be smarter at it, to be more precise at it, to be more sneaky. Maybe they learned 2 new things from their last supply, and they're excited to try them out on you. Do you see? So this is how they increase their mask. When they increase their self-worth, it's different things. It's to increase how they operate. That's like number one. To protect the mask, for the mask to shine and look impeccable to people out there, but also to get better at being sneaky. When you're a narcissist, when you're evil, when you are getting over on people, everything about you, you want undercover. And that's why you get nothing out of the narcissist. That's how it started. But now they became nothing. That's my point. My point is, when I tell you that they are nothing but a lie, when you've been lying for 20 years, you become nothing but a lie. You got to get that concept down. They are nothing, because if you've been lying for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, what are you? You're only going to be a product of the lies you told. You're a lie. Yes, you have a history, but it's a history of lies, of telling people you are somebody else. You are something else. You are better than you are, because you ain't. Does that make sense? It's hard to get that concept down sometimes, even for myself. It's like, gee, because when you're coming out of this, it's nutty. This is dealing with nutty professor type stuff, y'all. But they're set up to beat you. The narcissist is out to protect himself. The mask protects them from the world, the fantasy from the reality. That's why they have to draw you in. They draw you in and draw you down. They draw you in and draw you down. That's what the enemy does. He draws you into his world, a world of lust, not love. You see, it's not a world of the 9 fruits of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, goodness, gentleness. No, his world is lust. It's sex, not love. You see, it's stealing, not giving. They're destroyers completely. There's nothing a narcissist can do but destroy. But this is what they do. They have to draw you into their fantasy because they're frightened of reality. And that's really how this all started. That's why you get to dealing with this individual and it's like, well, how did all this happen? Well, it happened because, I've gone over this a lot, but it's like out of fear of the world that they're in and what they're dealing with. They have pride protected, and then they build this fake life. And they deal with entities in doing it. And that's why it's as devious as it is, because this is not humanly possible what they do. On the level that they operate is not humanly possible. And that's why it kills me when people think it's just a psychological situation. Come on, man, you got to know this is a spiritual situation. They don't change. That's why they always say they don't change, they just change partners. And anytime you bring them into a reality, if you continue, this is the deal, if you're one of their love partners and you continue to bring them into situations of reality where you force them to look at things from a realistic point of view, you try to at least, and you hit them head on with that, you're done. They're going to leave you. Because anything that realistically comes into their mind, they have to toss it out. They cannot accept reality or truth. And that's why when you get tired, when you're the primary source supply, and after you get worn out and tired, you start coming at them with straight reality. And that's why they ditch you. And that's why they say when your fuel runs low. Because when your fuel runs low, you hit them with reality. I'm tired of this because this is what you're always doing. You didn't start out like that. But when you got worn down, that's how you start treating them. When they come at you, you snap right back. And then they leave you. They go to another source of supply. You see what I'm saying? And that's what they call you running low on energy. But you should have did that a long time ago. That's why I was talking about this the other day, that your boundaries, you need to build them good boundaries and address things quickly. Because as you waited till you were so worn out of energy before you dealt with the real situation, if you would have dealt with it in the beginning, yeah, you would have lost them. They would have left you forever because you weren't in too deep yet, or you would have left them. But instead you accommodated until you got worn down. Then you come at it with reality. But now you're already hooked. Now you're in too deep. You ever hear that? In too deep, man. That's how they get you. And that's what they want. They want you. This is what the narcissist does. They come into your life to get you sprung. You know what sprung is? To get you so infatuated with them, you can't live without them. And once that happens, that could happen through sex, sexual acts, if they give you the best sex, if you're sprung on their looks, if you're sprung on the way that they are able to talk to you with their charm and their charisma, or the way they whisper to you and talk to you and lullaby you, they can do these things, right? These are the type of things that get you sprung on them. And when you get sprung, boy, and they know it, they can play you however they want. And that's what they do. They come in to be your full fantasy in the very beginning. They dress the way that you want them to dress and the way they think that you would want them to. This is what they do when they size you up before your first date. These are the things people talk about. They break it down to what they want to wear for you, based on who you are. It's not just what they say, it's everything. They can't be in reality, and that's what it is. It's all pain to the narcissist, because in reality, the narcissist is nothing. And they can't be just a mere individual. That's the other part. They have to be superior, superb, a god, grandiose, affiliated with master craftsmen. And that in reality is not who they are. Who they are in reality is somebody they're in arrested development. They're a little child in an adult body, and they can't really function on their own. They're completely codependent, and they need to be with somebody at all times. And they have to suck off those people because they don't have the ability to live their life independently. They can't do big things. They control others to avoid hurt and pain. When they control you, and they have the ability, when they look at you, when they meet you, whether they want to make you a source of supply or not, is what's their chances that they can control you. So they're x-raying you from top to bottom, every word that comes out of your mouth, every movement that you make when they're meeting you. Not when you have your first date, when they're first meeting you. And if you are a potential person that they can control and you have the gifts and the traits they're looking for, or they get infatuated with you, but these are things can they control you? If they can't control you and they don't believe they can, they're probably going to not go out with you, because they don't want to be hurt, and they don't want to be in competition with you. They don't want to be defeated. So if they feel like that's going to be a risk to them, they're not going to take that chance. That's why they always know when they make you a source of supply for them, they always feel like they can control you from the start, from the jump. And that's why you always will shock them and get them shook, buckle their knees when you go out there and their opinion of you is not at all who you are, because they're just shallow in their thinking and what they thought about you. They control others to hurt, to control and avoid pain, to avoid a narcissist injury, because they're extremely not only dysfunctional, but offended very easily. Very, very sensitive. Narcissist is the most sensitive person. And that's why when you think that they can just go out there and get some good supplies, it's not that easy, because they're so sensitive. That's why they end up getting you walking on eggshells, because it starts out you're accommodating because of their sensitivities. And then it leads to you walking on eggshells because you're handing them your power. But most people won't do that. Most people will offend them, and they'll run away in the very beginning, or they'll cuss them out and never talk to them again, or whatever. This is good stuff, y'all. So this is what happens. They can't be displeased. They can't be disappointed. They have to escape reality for the fantasy. And they have many defense mechanisms of control to avoid these things from happening, meaning all the manipulations in your life. And then they get to where they're sadistic with it, because they get more and more evil as you walk down this road and you shut down pathways into the goodness of who you were innately. You start to become evil. You start to like evil. You start to yearn for evil. You start to gotta have it. You're addicted to evil now, meaning destroying people, getting over on people, controlling people, looking at an individual that they date on first date and see what they look like on the last date when they devalue and destroy them completely. That excites them when they're down in the dumps, stepping on them with their foot on your neck. You've got to reassess what they look like to you. So these are mainly some of the things that they're trying to accomplish. They mainly cannot be alone, right? We always talk about that. They can't be alone, y'all. They cannot be alone. Cannot be alone. They have to have power and control in every situation. They need to be admired. These are their objectives. They need to destroy, and they need to get adrenaline. They need to get adorned, and they're going to compete with you to do it. These are kind of their objectives. And they want to increase their image, increase their sources of supply, and increase their image. Other than that, this world has really become a game to them. And the only thing that hits them is when they're going through a narcissistic collapse, and they're having to reflect, and they're having to deal with reality. Because what it does is it pulls them back into what is. There is nobody able to defend them, to back them up. There's nobody that is able to draw them in and to keep them distracted from what is. Fantasy for a time will start to wear off, and they'll start to deal with reality. That's when they really do think about those good sources of supply that they had in their past that truly cared, truly poured out, drained for them everything they had. But then when they get puffed back up, I talked about the leaven. Somebody said they liked the leaven. When you get puffed up by leaven, the yeast, it's just as soon as that pride gets right back in there and they start to get built up again, I mean, forget it. They're going right back to what they were. Now, you got to understand, what is the devil doing and what are they doing, right? There's two things going on. The devil is just out to destroy you, okay? And the narcissist is just out to get their needs met and to control you, destroy you, compete with you, and win. To beat you down and then to preserve you as long as they can, put you on the shelf, come back for you, and hopefully you'll be there. They anticipate the worst always. They have many sources of supply. So once they get you to believe what image you have of them, a good image, and they get you sprung, then, they could tell you a story and they could be out cheating on you and you believe it, at least for a while. Anytime you try to have a realistic conversation with them, try to get things through to them, you could send them a long note, a letter, like 2 pages long, and they'll just say, if they do anything, it'll be like a couple words, their answer. Don't ever pour your heart out, especially if you know it's a narcissist, because they're just mocking you and laughing about the whole situation and showing it to their friends behind your back. You don't ever give more fuel than you get. The demon's intention is to destroy. The narcissist is to increase sources, to fulfill their needs, and to increase their image. They make their life a puzzle that you have a hard time understanding who the hell they are and how to understand them. And because of that, they get you to believe something about them that's far from them, and then you become blinded. And this is how they get you in a spot where they control you. And now you're wobbling because you're like, what the hell is going on? Who are you? I kind of have this image of you, but you tell me nothing. And then they continue to breadcrumb. They don't just breadcrumb you love and validation, but they breadcrumb to you who the hell they are. You don't know. You can't be with somebody who doesn't want to tell you anything about them. That's a huge red flag. And in fact, you should get that red flag. If they're covert and antisocial types, you're going to get that on like the first date. It's going to start springing up all over the place because it's hard. You should be able to understand it. It shouldn't be confusing. If you can't put things together and understand and be able to figure out when they give you little pieces of everything and you don't know where they live, where they accumulate that kind of money to get that, and they can't give you any good understanding of it or anything, you're going to see that it's shaky on the first date even. But they give you that altruistic acceptance, and that's what draws you in. They like you regardless. They accept you and they tell you that. First impressions, y'all, very powerful. They don't care. They don't care what you're thinking. They just want to control you. They just want to control the situation. You can't get them to understand you're wasting your time anytime you sit them down to give them a long talk about reality and what they're doing wrong to you. They don't care. It's just might as well quit it. They just want to take and destroy. They're in the fantasy, and they only listen to the voice that's in the fantasy telling them who they are and what they're doing and how they're doing it and how to manipulate you. That's it. They don't care. They don't support. They're not heartfelt. They don't have love. There's nothing else in there. Nothing but evil. Evil only. Thinking always continually in their hearts. The Lord spoke about this. They lust. They do not love, y'all, because evil can only work off lust. They cannot have any idle time. It's a big deal because they cannot be alone because they're a monster. And when they're alone, they get told how much of a monster they are. They deserve to hear these things now. I don't know what they were believing in the very beginning of their life, but they definitely deserve to hear those things in their head now because they are pieces of crap. When you destroy 300 people in a short period of time, and all you're trying to do is devise your mask, make your manipulations better so you can destroy them on another level and quicker, just to increase who you are in your head, your sources of supply, you're trying to increase the quality of your sources of supply, the quality of the destruction that you can commit on somebody when you're done with them, and to get them sprung enough to where you can keep them forever. That's crappy, y'all. They future fate, and that gets you off kilter. Gets you thinking there's not an ulterior motive, so that you can have a sense of longevity. You can have a sense of longevity and commitment, that they're committed to the relationship and they're not leaving. They know they destroy, and they know how bad they do it, y'all. They enjoy it. That's what they work on, increasing their destruction on your life, but still being able to keep you. And then when they get your trust and your love, and you believe that they're committed, then they're going to be able to lie to you, and they're going to go out there. And if you're sprung on them, you got to have them. You can't be without them, because they're special to you, because they can fulfill your needs like nobody else ever has, like, say, sexually or in the looks department. If you're that type of, you love the way they whisper those lies to you. Boy, they sound so good. Well, then you're going to let them cheat on you. I mean, you're going to know it's happening. You're not going to accept this from anybody else, but they're charged with this charm. They have this negative charge they have charm and charisma. When they need it, they have seductive acts. They have the ability to do all these manipulations to get you hooked on them, bonded to them. They sink their hooks in. They don't love you. They latch on, but they can't leave you. So if you can get up the nerve to leave them, this is the best card in your deck, man, because you need to leave them. You need to leave them to heal, to get better. They are nothing but destruction, y'all. They know they destroy. They know the impact it has on people. So when you trust them, when you love them, when you're sprung on them and you can't live without them, when you feel like they're committed, then they're going to be working on other sources of supply of breadcrumbing you. That's what happens. As soon as they get you hooked, they don't care anymore. Do you ever think about it? As soon as you say you love them, you trust them, and you believe that they're out for your good well-being, that's when they don't care. That's when they don't give a damn. That's when they're all of a sudden you can't find them. They're lying to you and you know it, but you can't figure it out because you don't know anything about them. That's because they got you hooked. They got you sprung, y'all. That's why it's hard coming off them. Because usually when they draw you in, there's at least one thing that you're infatuated about them. And that's what you need to put to death. This is good stuff, y'all. So, good day. Happy day, y'all. Till next time, stand tall, soldier up. Peace out. Love y'all.